You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 21st meeting of the Michigan City Board of Works and Safety. You can find information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning. I'd like to call the meeting of the Michigan City Board of Works and Public Safety to order this 21st day of June 2022. Present are Mayor Dwayne Perry, myself, Virginia Keating, and Mr. Benson. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular hybrid Zoom meeting of June 6, 2022, and the special hybrid Zoom meeting of June 10th, 2022. Are there any corrections to these minutes?
None, Madam Chair. Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a street closure request. Jack Arnett, CEO, LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau is requesting a street closure on August 6, 2022 for the Great Lakes Grand Prix Boat Parade and Block Party, closing Franklin Street from 8th to 6th Street and 7th Street from Pine Street to Washington Street from 8 a.m. to midnight, and to close Franklin Street from 10th to 4th Street from 5:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Good morning.
Good morning. Terry Greetham, Michigan City Special Events. And I'm with Rick Wright, Rick Wright from the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau. As you all know, the Michigan City Main Street Association canceled their Taste of Michigan City, which happens during the boat race weekend. Because of that, the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau has stepped up to replace that event with what is being called the Great Lakes Grand Prix Block Party and Boat Parade. This is basically, it will just be on Saturday. It'll be a one-day event, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Captain Lineski.
Good morning, Captain Jeff Lineski, Traffic Division. The only thing I would add is that we would also request to close Pine Street between Highway 12 and 10th Street for the vote lineup, and that would occur at 5:30, and it would probably last until 8 o'clock.
Okay, all right, thank you. Are there any public comments? Any board comments?
Madam President, you just may want to vacate the prior permission given to Main Street that the board did last year to grant them the closure.
So we want to amend that.
Well, yes, you want to vacate that motion and grant the new motion.
Okay, all right. Do I have a motion to vacate?
Motion to vacate the request from last year from Main Street
And to approve?
and to approve the closing that is on the table right now.
Second.
Okay. Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is Jonathan Flores, Restoration Builders Incorporated, is requesting a canvassing peddler's solicitor's license application approval to solicit in Michigan City for roofing, siding, windows, and doors Mondays through Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I believe this has been before us before, and we denied it, did we not?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and explain how this differs from the last
Yes,
one that we denied?
Jonathan Flores, 1022 Richard Avenue. After the first denied application, I went and informed the crews to stop soliciting immediately. Coming back until I get asked for permission just to pass flyers out, and no more than that.
Are there any board questions or comments?
I'm sorry, sir. Could you repeat that? I'm sorry. Could you repeat that,
Yes.
please?
After the first denied application, I informed the crews immediately to stop soliciting admissions until I come back to ask for permission to pass flyers out. No more than that. No door knocking, nothing, just flyers.
Any public comment?
This is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. City ordinance prohibits leaving any kind of flyers or we have a handbill ordinance that prohibits leaving the flyers at our doors. We had a problem with that during the campaign season. Some of the candidates, they left their flyers inside our door, and I informed them that that's not allowed here. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. Any board comments or questions?
I wasn't aware of that. Mr. Kolovic, I think it's the politicians that cannot put them in mailboxes because the politicians can leave them on the doorstep. That's not what we're here about, but I think what you stated was incorrect. So take a look at it again. I have no issue with this. No question.
Okay,
Madam President, though,
There is-
we do have an ordinance that prohibits leaving that kind of literature on doors. So I don't think the board is at liberty to grant this request because it would, our ordinance prohibits such action.
Yes, I agree with that. Hearing that, then do I have a motion?
I'd like to move that we deny this petition.
Support?
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
I vote aye as well. The next item on the agenda is the removal of Amtrak way signs. Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street, is requesting the removal of Amtrak station wayfinding signs on Highway 12 due to them not stopping to pick up passengers in Michigan City.
Yeah, this is Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. Effective April 4th, Amtrak shut down their Michigan City station. They closed it. Those signs are now rendered obsolete. They're just 4 of them right outside City Hall here. I'm going to cite section 19.05 of the Michigan City Municipal Code, prohibited signs, obsolete signs that advertise a product that is no longer made, an event that has already occurred, or a business that has closed are prohibited. The enforcement shall provide a letter to the property owner giving a set time for the removal of the obsolete sign. Those are city signs on city property, so basically the city's in violation of their own ordinance. So they're no longer needed there, so I'm requesting they be removed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments from the public? Any board comments?
Done here.
Then do I have a motion?
Motion to remove the sign.
And second.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request for uniform change. Chief Doug Legault, Michigan City Fire Department, is requesting permission to allow Michigan City firefighters to wear patriotic shirts from July 1, 2022 through July 31st, 2022. Is there anyone here to address this?
Mike Jasneski, Deputy Chief, Michigan City Fire Department. This is something we've done in the past, just as a temporary uniform change. We've done it for, in October, we've done it for breast cancer awareness, something like that. It's just a special shirt. This one, there should have been a picture included in the request. And all it is just so that the guys can wear that on duty for the month of July.
Thank you.
That's simple.
Okay, are there any public comments? Board comments?
Make a motion, we approve.
Support?
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a farmer's market application. Terry Greetham, Director of Special Events, is requesting approval of the farmer's market agreement between the City of Michigan City and Martha Petersheim, doing business as Taste of Martha's Kitchen for the 2022 season part-time.
Good morning, Terry Greetham, Special Events. Yes, this is just a standard agreement with a returning vendor for part-time for the farmer's market.
And this has been approved by,
Yes.
yes, okay. Comments from the public? Board comments?
None here.
I make a motion, we approve.
Support?
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a street closure request. Kevin Skuda Construction is requesting a street closure on Thursday, July 14th, 2022, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., closing Volca Avenue between Cool Spring and Earl Road through traffic to allow for staging equipment and sewer access at downstream and upstream manholes for the Michigan City Sanitary District. Is there anyone here that's going to address this today? Nobody here. I think it's self-explanatory at any rate. Are there any public comments? Any board comments?
None here.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Okay, then I call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request to allow leashed dogs on trails. Shannon Eason, Assistant Director of the Michigan City Park Department, is requesting to allow dogs on leashes on the trails at Ruby Woods.
Good morning. Ed Shin, Superintendent of Parks and Recreation. Thank you for the opportunity to request dog owners with their dogs to be on the trails at Ruby Woods based on the conditions before you. Brought to the Park Board by Shannon Eason and approved by the Park Board on June 1st. As a superintendent of the parks and trails, I've witnessed dog owners reporting complaints that dogs are being led to the government pier through the Port Authority property where this is not against any rules. 10 feet away, you have Washington Park Lot 1, and dog owners complain that they see dogs going to the pier, and rightfully so. It's not against the Port Authority rules. So I would like to request that you approve the dogs being walked at Ruby Woods to give another opportunity for people who do not have a place to walk their dogs in Washington Park. I would like to bring up Mr. Volz to also discuss reasons why we would like to request Ruby Woods for dogs to be walking. First, I would like to add that a survey was conducted by Ms. Eason in the past for a different area to be proposed as a dog park. It was rejected. However, I was amazed at the percentage of positive response to areas dedicated to dogs and their owners. And Mr. Volz, if you would, he's a trail expert and does maintain the trails. He's the park maintenance director. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're already having numerous dog walkers now. Part of the process of this is being uniform across our trail systems. Singing Sands already allows it. This will bring all our trails in line. Also, it helps build some of the community with the users. If we're all working together to keep our trails open, I think it'll benefit the system as a whole.
Thank you for that explanation. Is there any public comment?
Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. Uniform. Dogs are not allowed in the parks. It's for a reason. Anything owned by the city, anything owned by park recreation owns or have jurisdiction over, they don't allow dogs there. It's a potential problem, potential liability. If you just do it for one group of people, which we come accustomed to do in Michigan City for whatever reason, you do it for one group of people, how about my people? How about the people who live in Canada where I live at? Can we take our dogs to the park on a leash? No, we can't. Police will be there in a minute. 1 second, New York second. If you're gonna do it for one, do it for all. It's common sense. We shouldn't be excluding nobody in this. I'm not against it, but I'm against it if you're not gonna do it for everything that the city owns. Thank you.
I would like to point out that Canada Park does allow dogs. That is our one dog-friendly park that we do have.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
We call it Sycamore Park, and it's the park that's right by my house. So we got people that's not, I'm from Michigan City. I've been here 55 years. A lot of people don't understand, you know, we get a lot of people start changing the names of our parks, don't ask our input. So some people get confused. So we call it Sycamore Park, if that's a better name for it. But clear as day, no dogs. And I've seen that in a lot of places. There's a reason for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? And any board comments?
Motion to approve.
Wait, we've got Paul, Councilman Prespolinski.
Good morning, everyone. Paul Prespolinski, 1716 Washington Street. I think there's good points on both sides of the discussion. And I too, as a dog owner and person who enjoys the interaction with, with nature, that I have a tendency to agree that there's some inequities in the policy for the whole city. Because I don't feel that people who they had specific areas down in Washington Park for dogs. But then if you live in Michigan City, you had to keep your dog in your vehicle if you go down there. If your dog is, there's a way to work this out so everybody can enjoy it. And I'm not being critical of the park department, the city, is that I think we need to evaluate how we treat the dog owners and the dogs. And there's certain requirements that you can put on a dog owner to be on public property. One of them is that they have a muzzle. So you don't have a problem. A normal dog, a normal behaving animal will not object to that muzzle. I think that you ought to table this and look at changing the policy in all the parks. And that if you're going to allow the dogs on them, because I'll tell you right now, there's people walking their dogs at Gardena and they're defecating all over the place and they're not picking up. So are we going to make it easier and let the people have their dogs there, but they got requirements that they have to follow the code? That there is a code on the books about people picking up their animals' business. And a lot of people aren't doing it. You can put out some pickups at these areas and put on requirements that, you got to have your dogs have shots. They got to have their tags. They have to do these things. And everybody's aware of it. And if they don't follow the rules, it's not a problem to look at a dog and know if he's got a tag or not, but they're supposed to be wearing it. But I'm just saying that I think that there is some merit in letting people have their animals at on public property. But on the other side of that is that you can set requirements that they can't have it when there's a big activity going on. You can set requirements and have it listed right on the signage. And at a public park, you can have it listed that they cannot have animals in the area when there's baseball games or scheduled activities going on. There is a way to work it out. And I think that this solves a big problem about having a dog park. And I do agree about letting dogs go on the trail system. So I think that maybe we need to put some more effort into it and study and discussion. And I think it's unfair to dog owners, responsible dog owners, because I've been seeing it and it's been on my mind that if I own a boat in Washington and I have it in the marina, I could take my dog down there. I can take my dog and they walk them all over the place and nobody says nothing to them. If I take my dog down there, I'm gonna get told, I'm gonna get a ticket, or I'm gonna get, just say John Q, the general public is gonna get told, you either get your dog out of here, or you're gonna get a ticket. So it's really about letting people enjoy the area and having fair treatment. Thank you.
Thank you. Board comments?
I have a comment, Madam President. I would be concerned also about enforcement of the picking up of the trash that the dogs leave. And just a quick story of sitting on the beach down by the senior center for 2 hours. We watched dogs go by us, unleashed, played in the water, which is fine. I love to watch the dog play and run and jump. The problem is the lifeguards that looked like an entire crew sat down there, did not pass us the entire time, as I said, and watched dog do its business. And it was pretty large business. And it laid there the entire time as the dog walker left. Seen this many times at the beach. I'm just wondering who is the enforcement of this? And like Councilman Prespolinski said, a good dog owner doesn't need to be enforced. But what we're looking at is there's going to be 20% of the people down there that's not going to do the right thing. So how do we ensure that the right thing is not being done to let our kids play in the same beach that dogs are doing their business on?
Thank you, but I redirect us to the fact that we're here to discuss and to either approve or not approve the request to allow dogs on leashes on the trails at Ruby Woods today. So that's the only question today.
Okay.
I have a comment, if I may, Madam Chair. First, in response to Mr. McCormick's comment that not everyone is allowed to walk their dogs in parks. These approvals are by park location, not what neighborhood you're from. If we do approve walking dogs in the subject area, Ruby Woods, then anyone living in any neighborhood in Michigan City can take their dog to Ruby Woods and walk it. That's my comment on that. On the other issue, yes, we are here to discuss this item and this item only. So I will make a motion that this be tabled for one meeting so that we can offline in committee meetings or whatever, establish some rules and regulations and disciplinary action for people that don't take care of their pets when they have them.
I'll second that.
Yes, please.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a memorandum of understanding. Shannon Eason, Michigan City Public Art Committee, is requesting the approval of an MOU between the City of Michigan City and the artist Terry Karpowitz to install his sculpture on the northeast corner of 7th Street and Franklin Street. The name of it being Lady with a Hat, and his other sculpture on the southeast corner of Ripley Street and Franklin Street titled Uplift.
Hi, I'm Janet Flock. I'm a member of the Public Art Committee and director of Lou Besnick Center for the Arts. I'm standing in for Shannon today. And this is a memorandum of understanding for our rotating sculpture program. We've picked 2 sculptures by Mr. Karpowitz, and I believe that Shannon had distributed the MOU, so it's for our standard lease, which is $3,000 for 2 years. Are
Do you
there
want to address that?
questions?
I wish Shannon was here. There's a typo in it, and
Oh.
that typo is significant because is it $3,000 for the full duration or is it 6?
Oh, well, I'm sorry, it's $6,000 for 2 sculptures. That's why. She has an MOU. We're actually leasing 2 sculptures and our standard lease is $3,000 for 2 years per 1 sculpture. So I don't know.
It's very unclear.
Yeah, it's not clear.
Okay.
That would be found on page 3, I believe, paragraph 6.
Okay,
There's
because
a couple of errors in there.
just a question. I used to actually be the person to do the MOUs, which I'm not anymore, but aren't these standard?
They're
sort of-
standard except for the amount. Shannon typed in the amount. There's a typo in it.
Okay, and did she put, I'm
You're gonna
sorry,
see artist, committee will pay artists $3,000, but then it has in parentheses $6,000. So
And also the 1 over 100.
correct.
and which page is it? Just, I'm sorry, or which
Is
number?
that page 3, I believe,
Mhm.
paragraph 6?
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember where, oh, I see it, yes. So, I'm just looking in the part before if it has the 2 sculptures listed on 1 MOU, if that's maybe what the issue is. So there's 2 pieces that we're leasing. For this year, it would be, what we do is we pay the lease out we pay half at the beginning and half at the end. So I don't know if we can amend it or if it has to go back to Shannon.
Do you want to just table it and have Shannon submit the corrected
Yeah.
paperwork?
Okay,
I think
sure.
that's going to be the clearest.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's do that.
would we still be, okay.
You have a motion.
Motion to table for 1 meeting.
Second.
Okay, then a call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a memorandum of understanding request. Shannon Easton, Michigan City Public Art Committee is requesting the approval of an MOU between the City of Michigan City and the artist Nicole Beck to install her sculpture placement to be determined. And that title is Peace Tree.
Peace Tree, and we have determined the location. And I thought she did submit an updated memorandum, but she emailed me and it's going at the southwest corner of 5th and Franklin, which is the spot in front of Horizon Bank.
So you want to amend your request then to include that location?
Yes, it says to be determined, but we have determined the location of it.
All right.
Shannon has another typo on this. The same 11 over 100.
Okay, all right. Well, we probably just. might as
Motion to
well
table.
Second.
1 meeting.
Okay.
Okay, call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next.
Thank
item-
you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Rodney Dumas, 106 Crestwood Drive is requesting the approval of a mobile vendor license application for 6/20/22 through 12/20/22 at Reynolds Automotive LLC, doing business as Chris's Care, 422 West US Highway 20, from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Is there anyone here to address this matter? You want to come up?
Madam President, if I may, just briefly, in the application, it says specifically for him to state the names and the addresses of where he's going to be doing business. That is left blank. However, he attached a letter in the back from an owner, but I don't want to presume that he's only going to be at this location. So I was hoping he was going to be here to clarify his application this morning.
And we need also some information regarding the distances, do we not?
We looked at the distances. There are some other restaurants, but we also wanted clarification of, are you just selling snow cones? Because that is a big distinction between, there's a taco joint across the way, and then there's a the Sugar Bowl restaurants. Well, the Sugar Bowl is a little ways away, but my point in saying this is that if they're selling tacos, well, we don't want them to be in competition with the taco place across the street that is a brick and mortar and in our city. So it's just that type of thing. Like, what exactly are you selling? That's kind of how our ordinance works.
Okay.
But if it's just snow cones, that's a whole different
Okay,
situation.
all right. So we really can't approve this without more clarification.
Yeah, just a little bit more information would be helpful.
Motion to table for one meeting.
Second.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is the Patriotic Parade Agreement, an agreement between the City of Michigan City and Ed Fairman, Uncle Sam on Stilts, to participate in the July 2nd, 2022 Patriotic Parade in the amount of $475.
Terry Greetham, Special Events. Ed Fairman as Uncle Sam on Stilts has been a part of the Michigan City Parade for many, many years. Extremely popular with the children and the families. And we would like him to participate in this year's Patriotic Parade being held on Saturday, July 2nd.
And this has been approved? Amber?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Any public comment? Any board comment?
Make a motion, we approve.
Support.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is the removal of no parking signs. Councilman Paul Prespolinski, 1716 Washington Street, is requesting no parking signs be removed when the city paints the curbs yellow, and is requesting solar stop signs at busy intersections within the city, and requests to reset the stoplights on Franklin Street due to heavy traffic.
Good morning. Paul Prisbalinski, 1716 Washington Street. I made these requests, and number one, the no parking signs, that I think that it is a fair request that when we paint, because that's why they were put out, because there was no yellow lines on a couple of these major streets, Washington Street, Wabash Street, further down. But and then getting to the solar stop signs, there's one particular intersection that was recently, which I agree with, moving the stop sign down to Ripley and Wabash, is that because it's dark in there, because I made a request at a couple meetings ago about getting some streetlights in that area, because now since St. Anthony's is not functioning at that location, that neighborhood is kind of dark, but you can't really see those signs at night. And I almost blew that one sign on Ripley. And I just think it'd be, but not only at that intersection, but some of these other intersections, I was thinking about it in a lot of these where they have temporary signage with this the double track project going on, like at Wabash and 11th. That corridor is very dark in there. And they could address that, the construction company and the Franklin Street setting these stop lights. Some of these lights are very, very, very long. And one in particular is Cool Spring and Franklin Street. And it's so long as it's timed. A lot of people, if you sit there, blow that intersection, because they'll go through that intersection they know that yellow's long, and they go through it. And a couple of weeks ago, me and my son witnessed a bad accident at that intersection. But I can make a list of intersections that I think are bad, and I think we need to look at it. And another intersection I think that needs to be looked at is Ohio Street and 20. To have, I know that we don't regulate Highway 20 because it's a state road, is that we need to have formal that intersection needs to be improved because of different accidents at that intersection, fatalities, and that we have formal turning lanes developed at that intersection. And also there's a intersection that, not an intersection, but I would guess it is an intersection at where the shopping centers on the south end cross and go on to south 20 past, 421 south of Highway 20. That's regulated by the state. The intersection that I'm concerned with is that coming out of the east shopping center and they combine going into the parking lot on the west shopping center, there's no turn lanes in there. And the traffic if you have a lot of traffic, the lanes that are turning are fighting with the lanes that are coming across and going into that parking lot. And many years ago, I got rear-ended at that and I brought it to the board and nothing's been done. This was years ago, like maybe 15 years ago. But I just wanted to bring that to the board and, try to get something done on this stuff for traffic safety. And I'm going to keep looking at other intersections that I would like you to look at. I think that we have the resources to do some of this stuff and to start working on it with the state. I know that is a cumbersome process to deal with when you're dealing with the state. So I would like that some of those things you could move on ASAP. And I have one other item that I'll bring up under public comment. Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Captain, do you want to address any of these issues?
Well, to begin with, the intersection of Ohio Street and US 20. Last year, we had a fatal accident at that intersection. And after that accident, I pleaded with the state to install left turn lane, or there's already left turn lanes there. I just pleaded with them to install left turn arrows at that intersection for east and west traffic. At that time, they informed me that they had previously done a traffic study and that the traffic volumes on Ohio Street didn't warrant the installation of that left turn arrow. So we have tried and we'll continue to try for that. Like I say, it was the result of a fatal accident last year that probably could have been prevented if we would have had the left turn arrows. As far as the other intersections, I have spoken with Councilman Prespolinski, and we are going to work on some of those. As far as flashing stop signs, I think there are some intersections. Again, the intersection at Wabash and Ripley, I believe, would benefit because it's a new stop sign. And I think in the previous administration, when the lighted stop signs were installed on Pine and Washington streets, the eventual plan was for those to eventually be taken off, replaced with regular stop signs when people became accustomed to the new stop signs. I guess the plan for that was that we would save those lighted stop signs for our inventory to be installed at other intersections throughout the city when they were warranted. So yes, I can take a look, and I'll work with Councilman Prespolinski to identify some of those intersections that might benefit from those lighted stop signs.
Thank you for your input. Are there any other public comments? Any board comments?
Madam Chair, I would make a motion at this time that we approve item 3 on the list, but deny items 1 and 2.
So what is item 3? Would you please articulate that?
Well, as much detail as I can get out of this, it's replace stoplights on thoroughfares to solar signs.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. I don't see any need to remove item 1 to remove no parking signs where the yellow curbs are painted, because in no time at all, the yellow curbs fade. So the stop signs, no parking, are a reminder. And resetting the street lights on Franklin Street without additional study at this time, I would say no to that. So that's my motion. Approve item 3, deny items 1 and 2.
Go ahead and second.
I think, Mayor, did you mean that you want to approve the solar stop sign
Yes,
and
Yes.
deny all others?
yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, and I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a street closure request for a 5K run. Ellen Myhofer, United Way of LaPorte County, is requesting to have their annual 5K run champion kickoff on August 18th, 2022, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., closing the intersection of Blue Chip Drive and East 2nd Street down to Krieger Avenue and back to Blue Chip Casino's parking lot. Anybody here to address that? Hi.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ellen Myhofer. I'm the Director of Community Engagement at United Way of LaPorte County. Excuse me. We're excited to get our events back in this community after a couple of years. We raised and put back over $1.5 million during COVID back into the community. This event will be a huge fundraiser for us during our campaign kickoff week that we're excited to showcase this year. The funds raised from this event will help to continue us bridging any gaps in children and youth financial stability for all families in the community. We are working with the Parks Department and will provide our own volunteers to keep all participants safe. We have done this event in the past and used this exact route, and we're excited to bring it back.
Thank you very much. Captain, did you have any input on this?
Yes, we have discussed it before the meeting. They will be using their own volunteers, so it's not going to cost us any overtime. My only recommendation would be they solicit maybe an off-duty officer to work the intersection of US 12 in front of Blue Chip, because I don't think a volunteer will be able to handle that. I think you'll need a marked unit out there. So we would recommend approval of the request.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any public comments? Board?
A question for you, ma'am. Are you willing to employ an off-duty police officer per?
For the event, yes.
Okay. Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
The chair votes aye as well. Next two items are announcements of retirements, and they are for informational purposes only. Chief Dion Campbell, Michigan City Police Department, is announcing the retirement of Lieutenant Jeffrey J. Piotrowski with over 31 years on the department effective July 3rd, 2022. And also Chief Dion Campbell, Michigan City Police Department, is announcing the retirement of Sergeant Darren D. Camplin with 30 years of service on the department effective July 3rd, 2022. Just want to thank both of these officers for their years of service to the city.
If I may, madam, I have come to know both of the officers, dealing with them regularly. Both Lieutenant Piotrowski and Sergeant Kaplan are credits to the law enforcement community. They job well done.
Yes,
I appreciate their service.
Good luck to them both. The next item on the agenda is a tree removal request. Jay Killingbeck, 317 Homer Street, is requesting a dead tree in front of his house on the city easement to be removed due to it being a safety issue.
Good morning, Board. Sean Smith, Street Director, City of Mission City Central Services. I went out to 317 Homer, inspected the tree, and indeed it was dead and rotted, and we have since removed it.
Thank you. Any public comment? Board comment?
None.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is the payroll docket for June 3rd, 2022. The city payroll of $653,348.12. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the payroll.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item is the claims docket for June 21st, 2022. The claims are as follows: municipal, $2,050,962.94. CDBG, which is Community Development Block Grant, $1,975.40. Health and Life Insurance Fund, $216,774.09. Workers' Comp Trust, $1,279.35 for total claims of $2,274,991.78. Do I have a motion to approve?
Approve the claims docket as read.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Moving on to the pending items list. The first item we have today is Councilman Don Prespolinski, 1716 Washington Street, pointing out that Brown Kinsel Ditch needs to be cleaned out and wants to know what is happening with the culverts on County Line Road. This had been assigned to acting city engineer Brad Minnick. I don't see him here, and we need him to give us a status on this. Is he online?
That's what I had. Say Don Prespolinski, I think that's. Oh, I guess. To get mad.
We've got several for Brad to address today. So let's skip the next, that one and the next at least two. Okay, let's go to James Hutter, treasurer, James Hutter, treasurer of Commerce Square Condo Association, is requesting a barrier to be placed at the corner of US 12 and Highway 35. Captain Lineski, you were going to address this.
Yes, so I pulled the accident stats. I went back to 2016. I observed that in that time period, we've taken 12 accident reports at that intersection. So we're averaging about 2 to 3 accidents per year at that intersection, which is a relatively low number of accidents considering how much traffic goes through that major intersection. When I looked at the causes of those accidents and the consequences of those accidents, I didn't see really any pattern where this is like a continual problem of vehicles running off the road. I think we've had maybe 2 in that time period. So I would defer to the board. I don't know if the cost of installing a barrier or a rail would necessarily be justified by the amount of accidents that we're currently having.
Okay, so as far as the recommendation goes,
Well, I've spoken with Mr. Minnick too, and I think we both agree that I don't think it's warranted at this time.
okay, all right. Is there any public comment? Board comment?
None here.
Okay.
No, following the recommendation, I make a motion, we deny.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair will say as well. Thank you. Appreciate that. Next item on the agenda is Carrie McGinty, 225 Charles Street, requesting to purchase city-owned property located behind their property at 932 West 6th Street. And this was tabled because we needed a description of the property. Is that correct?
That is correct. Hendricks is working on it right now.
Okay, so we'll leave it on the pending items list. then.
That's fine.
Should do it for a month. Yeah, for a month. Okay, next item on the agenda is Councilman Don Prespolinski addressed the board concerning traffic island markers that were missing. And this was also something that I believe that Brad Minnick was going to take care of. So we'll just wait to talk to him about that. The last item on the agenda for the pending items list would be Michael Vincent, 2402 Greenwood Avenue, is requesting lane reconfiguration to create a center turning lane on Woodland Avenue between Barker Road and Cool Spring. Could you give us a status, please?
So I did pull the accident stats. Again, I went back to, I think, 2016 and found that in the stretch of Woodland Ave between Greenwood and Barker Road, in that time period, we've taken 89 accident reports, which is a lot, but that's a long stretch of roadway too. But when I reviewed the causes of all of those accidents, I found that 35 of those 89 accidents were rear enders. So those are accidents that could potentially be prevented if we had a center turn lane or some other escape route for vehicles to get around turning cars. So I did give these stats and the actual accident reports to Mr. Minnick. He informed me that he was going to give them to one of his engineers in his office to review further and come up with some recommendations, because it is a costly proposition to install a center turn lane, that whole stretch. One of his potential solutions to this might be just installing bump outs at some of our more dangerous locations where these are happening, to give somebody an escape route or a way to pass a turning vehicle safely. So his engineers are going to work on this, and they should be getting up a recommendation of some of those locations and cost estimates shortly.
Thank you very much. So I believe we just leave this on the pending items list. A month, please. Okay, are we able to speak with Brad?
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay, Brad, the first item that we need your input on is the matter concerning Brown Kinsel Ditch, which was brought before us by Councilman Paul Prespolinski. Did you have a chance to take a look at that?
I did. In particular, the double track plans as it relates to that ditch. They're going to maintain the 15-foot
Brad, I'm having trouble hearing you. Could you speak a little louder?
The NICD plans call for maintaining the 15-foot pipe that's out there present day, and then obviously cleaning it out in addition to widening it.
Okay. And so what is your recommendation?
Then that's gonna help with the problem. And in terms of a more comprehensive study, and Councilman talked about a 62-foot differential between the lake and some of the elevations at the pipes. That I can look further into, but that's really going to be cost prohibitive rather than the most cost effective approach would be to maintain what's out there, and that would be working with the county as well as city forces to take care of what they have on hand today.
Thank you. So for what I'm getting from what you're saying is your recommendation would be to clean and to widen. Is that correct?
That's what the NICD plans already call for. So that's under contract to happen.
Okay. All right. All right. I understand.
Mr. Minnick, is that NICD's obligation or ours?
the contractor's obligation on behalf of NICD. So that's part of the project.
Will we need him to monitor that?
Yeah.
Brad, I think that the consensus from the board would be that we'd like you to continue monitoring that to make sure that that's done.
Sure.
Mr. Prespolinski, I see you standing there. Are you intent to speak or?
I have one question for
Why don't you come to the mic then and address him?
Morning, Board. Paul Prespolinski, 1716 Washington Street. Good morning, Brad. I was wondering on your comments, was that talking about, are they going to enlarge that culvert that's going under the South Shore tracks on, and it's black, well, I call it Black Ditch. I don't really know what they legally call it because it's a man-made ditch. It's a court-ordered ditch. Are they gonna enlarge that culvert going under the South Shore tracks, Brad? Is that what you were saying? Or they're going to widen the ditch to?
The proposed plan is to maintain the existing size of the pipe, but the pipe will be longer.
It won't change in diameter at all. It's just gonna, they're not.
It's the plans present there to maintain the existing 15-foot diameter.
Oh, they're gonna increase it to a 15-foot diameter. Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify. Cause that's almost doubling the size that it is right now, correct?
Okay. I was looking at the proposed rather than focusing on the existing because the proposed is what's going to be built.
Okay. All right, where are those plans at?
So that'll be the new condition. When the
Oh,
project's
that's the new
complete.
plan?
That'll be the new condition when the project is complete.
Okay. Where are those plans at? Are they at the Lake Park Station? I mean, the Dunes Park Station?
They're not publicly available. I apologize, I couldn't be there in person today, but I have them on a thumb drive. And I'll be happy to share those with you at the next meeting. I just couldn't be there in person today due to conflict.
Okay. Oh. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Board, I need a motion to have Brad continue monitoring this with NICD.
So moved.
Couple months.
Support?
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. We will revisit this matter in approximately 2 months. Next item on the agenda, Brad, is there was a request for a culvert at 945 South Woodland Avenue. You were going to get 3 quotes, is my understanding. What's the status on this?
That's correct. I have 2 quotes in hand. I'm waiting on the 3rd quote, and then I'll share those with the sanitary district at that time, and then move forward with replacement.
Okay, thank you. And we'll leave this on the pending items list. The next item, Brad, is the request to energize 4 street lighting controller cabinets and 1 traffic signal along 11th Street. What's the status on this one?
And that's also went to NIPSCO, so it's in their court to move forward with it, so as not to delay the project.
Okay, then we'll leave this also on the pending items list. The next one we have for you is the request to amend the city's HTD policy regarding fees. What's the status on this?
Amber and I talked about that. It would be best to table that for 2 months.
Okay.
Actually, till after the first board meeting after Labor Day.
Okay, all right. We'll do that.
Motion to table.
Okay.
Second.
Call for vote, Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. I believe that's all we have on our, well, no, let me take a look. Brad, there's one last one here, and that was the matter concerning the markers that were missing. Have you had a chance to contact NDOT on that?
I've contacted NDOT 3 times now and I have not had a response yet.
Okay. You're going to continue doing that, right?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Then we'll leave this on the pending items list as well.
And then one other quick comment about the flashing stop signs. So there are approximately 24 of them from the street conversion project, and I can work with Captain from the police department to, put those in place across the city in new installations, if that's the board's preference.
Did you understand that?
If we understood what you're saying, the solar street lights that were put up and down Washington and Pine to get people accustomed to having to stop, you talk about taking those down and replacing them with conventional and moving those to the locations that have been stated to be in need?
That's correct. The cost of those was $3,000 each. $3,000 each 6 years ago during the installation. So that has to be weighed against relocation.
Okay, well, I think that's a very good move. Street Department Director Sean Smith and I have had a conversation about that just recently because some of these solar lights, solar stop signs are burning out and they're very expensive to replace, knowing that the plan per Captain Lanuski was to replace those with conventional once everyone's accustomed to the traffic flow. I think it all fits together. I think we can make this work very well.
Yep. And they don't, the sign doesn't have to be replaced, just a battery pack. They have a 5-year service life. So at this point, six years into the street conversion project, we're on borrowed time with the battery packs.
We got our money's worth, huh?
Thank you.
Yep.
The next item on the agenda is public comment. And before we begin, I want to note that public comment is limited to 3 minutes. All comments are to be addressed to the board president, not to the individual members. That being said, is there anyone here who wishes to address the board right now?
This is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street, and I just want to express my gratitude to the board for postponing the meeting to today from yesterday for allowing to honor the Juneteenth holiday, as well host the Governor Holcomb and Senator Young and Congressmember Van Firm and all the other dignitaries that were here yesterday. And I just want to say shame on Nipke for not allowing the public to have a gathering space where we can welcome the governor and all the others too. That's all. Thank you.
Morning, board. Paul Przybylski, 1716 Washington Street. I have a couple questions. Was the telephone pole item resolved? I see it's not on the list anymore on unfinished business. There been any movement or information on where we're going to go? Are we going to go to the feds or, on getting some of these poles removed or getting the cable company to remove their wires and transfer them? I mean, this has been going on now. So anyway, now also I brought up the fact about street lighting on that section of Wabash Street where St. Anthony's used to be. And they had their perimeter lighting used to light up that area and parking lots that used to light up that area. So now it's pretty much no lighting in there. I see that item's removed from the, or not even on, anywhere on the agenda. But also, I would like to share with the board, if I may, if I can approach the chair about a document that was found out in the lobby. May I approach the chair?
Certainly.
Okay. It's about the issue with dogs. So anyway, with this, with the different items that I brought up earlier, especially on the no parking signs, is that paint will last for years. The problem before is that it wasn't painted for 15 years and they were put up because they weren't painting the streets under the no parking areas under the last administration. So what I'm getting at is it's unsightly. So if you can't, or you don't want to remove them, how about putting a international code ones up that are more sight pleasing to the eye, that are and go. And we need to do that uniformly through the city so people understand the uniform code on no parking. Thank you.
Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. Mr. Prespolinski just handed you something I found in the hallway. And I find it, Mr. Vince said something about dogs at the beach. Our beach is not on that list of having dogs at the beach. Kind of disturbing. Dogs shouldn't be at the beach. But anyway, I'm here to address an issue that happened during the ribbon cutting. A lot of you might not know, but those who do know, we was protesting the failure of the county to honor Juneteenth and made county workers come to work. We peacefully protested on Detroit Street. BP gas station owner gave us permission to stand on his property because we were told we could not go up and down the sidewalk. I come to a lot of these Board of Works meetings. I didn't see no request for street closure, sidewalk closure, but yet we were told that we couldn't walk up and down the street without signs. I'm just going to say this. That's our constitutional right to peacefully assemble and talk about our displeasure with our government. None of us was out. None of us got out of hand. We didn't do nothing but to come and voice our opinion. I don't know why the Michigan City Police Department, who ordered the Michigan City Police Department to tell us if we went down the sidewalk, we were going to be arrested. That's ridiculous. I hope no one from this board had anything to do with that. For some reason, this city likes to play hardball with the Constitution. We have an absolute constitutional right to protest peacefully, and we exercised that. We took advantage of that. And then we was threatened to go to jail. Amongst that, there was several individuals who lived on that street. Two of those individuals lived in different houses who came down to the protest. One individual was 75 years old, the other one was 73 years old, with 8 of her grandkids to teach them about civil disobedience and protesting and exercising your right. The Michigan City Police Department, along with the state police, made those individuals walk all the way around the block when their house was right next to BP gas station. At some point, our leadership in this city has to protect us. We looked up and down the street. No one was there to protect us. We was told what we couldn't do and this and that, but we peacefully assembled. When we made our signs, my daughter's 12 years old, our protest signs, She said, welcome, one of her protest signs said, welcome to the train station of lies and broken promises. At some point, this has to change. But I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna tell you right, I'm gonna exercise and none of you can stop me. Come November, come next year, I'm voting. There's nothing you can do about it. You can put the dogs in front of the polling place, you do whatever. I'm gonna make sure I vote for change. We cannot allow this to happen to any citizens, anywhere in the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
This is Brad Minnick again. I just wanted to address Councilman Preselinski's comments. Both of those items in question, the lights at St. Anne's as well as the NIPSCO polls, are on the next agenda item for the first meeting in July.
Get that, Paul? Okay.
Excuse me, board, I forgot an item. Last week I was riding around the city, and I happened to be on the west side where they were doing construction work around the fire station. And I knew that one thing is that I knew that the underlayment of that North Ohio Street, north of the tracks, there was bricks underneath that street. Well, I pulled up in that area and saw that one lane was that they had nicked whoever the contractor is, removed. There were some guys working over there, and I asked them, you guys, they were electricians. They said, we don't know what's going on with that. That's the construction company. So I don't know if the other lane of bricks are gone, but I will say this. This thing's getting out of hand. We have no one to talk to. I have no one to call, and to get, if a city engineer is on staff, they can halt construction at any time according to state law. He's in charge in the city. He can red tag anything at any time. Well, who do I call? No one. But there's a city ordinance on the books that any bricks removed from any street are to be turned over to the city. Now, they did that over on Lafayette Street. It doesn't talk, it was specifically written because of construction, because to have a resource to get bricks and have a depository of bricks. And so I don't know if I took some pictures, but I don't know if, where those bricks are at or in whose backyard they are. I don't know if the other lane is gone. So I just want to know, or I think that I'm bringing it to your attention, that somebody needs to find the bricks, because I think they're worth about, 10 years ago, I think they were worth about $5 a piece, or that was the going price, but it all depends on condition. But that property is our property. And I don't know that if they got these construction gurus, that they don't know our code. But the fact of the matter is that we have nobody that we can go to even in under contract in the city to get on when you have a problem like this, to get in contact, because that's not my job. My job is to make somebody aware of it. My job is not to go and run down people. This is the problem that I see here with not having an engineer in our community. It's just like today when I asked Brad, where are them plans at? Oh, they're not publicly. That is bologna sausage. That is total BS. This is a public works project. those plans should be able to be reviewed at the library. Somebody needs to tell NICTA to get them plans at the library so they can be reviewed. Because what's happening, they can change that plan anytime they want. So I'm just saying that this is BS. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any board comment?
None here.
Well, hearing no board comment, no more public comment, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Support?
Call for the vote, Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Benson.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.